Aloha, my name is May, this is Quork, and you're watching our channel, RavenWing. I am a genuine Hawaiian filmmaker and actor, and this is our recap and review of Chief of War Episode 3. This review will contain spoilers for Episodes 1, 2, and 3. You've been warned. The show is from Apple TV Plus, and it stars Jason Momoa as Keawe Kaʻiana a Ahu'ula, but for brevity's sake, I'll just say Kaʻiana. It is set in 1800s Hawaii, taking place after the arrival and death of Captain Cook. We start the episode 1 year later. Here, Kaʻiana has been traveling with the ship Nootka, having saved its captain Mears. Tony has been teaching him how to use a rifle, while a native Alaskan man has taught him to track and hunt elk in the snow. He has been slowly trading and building some coin. They dock at the Spanish colony port of Zamboanga, and this is their final call before turning back towards Alaska, then home in Hawaii. Kaʻiana goes ashore decked out in his chief's robes and helmet. People stare, but he is not here for them.
Yeah, weirdos!
He's interested in items to help his family upon his return. Kaʻiana is there to buy guns. However, the gunsmith laughs at him when he wants enough guns for an army and sends him packing. Fortunately, they run into Vi, a Hawaiian woman living there, and a shout goes out to my friend, Cisa Gray, who plays this role. She tells him she will help him to get the guns, but she has a price. Hawaii has forests of sandalwood, which is highly valuable, and she wants to start a trade route for it. Kaʻiana tells her she's as greedy as the other paleskins, which is what they call the Europeans. Vi and Kaʻiana speak with Mears, but the captain is wary. Vi claims that no one else knows where Hawaii is. Kaʻiana could convince the chiefs to allow harvest, and they could control the sandalwood trade for their own benefit. We'll see about that. Despite Kaʻiana's objections, Vi tells him whether he likes it or not, Hawaiian waters will be full of European sailing ships soon, and he needs to get his guns and prepare the Hawaiians for it, for no prophecy can stop this. Now, before I talk about a European character, the man who tried to shoot Kaʻiana, please like and subscribe. I'm just getting this channel up and going, and we need your support. So what is Marley up to? He's plotting with another captain named Metcalf to start a trading empire through the colonization of Hawaii. He has chosen Metcalf because the Hawaiians are a warrior people, and he wants a captain with the brutality to subjugate them.
Rascal!
He lures Captain Mears, who had tryst with a sex worker, and while he's distracted, Marley returns to the Nootka and goes to Captain Mears' cabin, where the map to Hawaii is lying on his desk. Tony catches him in the act, but his buddies are there, and in a torturous scene, they beat him, then chloroform him 18th century style, and drag him off. Throughout the episode, Marley uses a lot of racial slurs and expressions, which is awful, but typical of the time. But no matter what the century is, insulting, mistreating, and enslaving people, no matter the race, is cruel and vicious. So, before I cover this portion of the show that returns to Hawaii, I'm saying you can support our new channel by checking out or ordering from my online store on Etsy.com. I have over 200 art prints that I have designed to meet anybody's decorating or gifting needs on paper or canvas, with or without frames. See the link below.
Art good!
Back in the islands, Kaahumanu and the islanders have been learning English thanks to her rescue of John Young. Already, the prophecy of Taula, the kahuna, is happening, and this is the first step in the westernization of Hawaiian culture. Kaahumanu's father, Moku, continues to exhort her to be willing and helpful in her upcoming marriage to Kamehameha. He believes the young chief is the prophesied one. Kaahumanu tells him of Taula's prediction that she would bear no heirs to the young chief. Moku looks troubled, but he only says, "Never tell Kamehameha about this." Speaking of, Chief Kamehameha has been doing underwater CrossFit with his buddies when Moku shows up and scolds him for avoiding council meetings. Kamehameha says these meetings only accomplish talk instead of action. Then Moku says Kamehameha has been called to see his uncle, Chief Kalani Opu'u, leader of the Kingdom of Hawaii. The chief is in ill health and wants to name an heir. To Kamehameha's surprise, his cousin Keoa, the chief's son, has also been called. At Ka'u, seat of the Kingdom of Hawaii, the two young men are questioned by Chief Kalani Opu'u, and we see Kamehameha's foresight in creating caches of food supplies around the islands. Then the wedding ceremony between Kamehameha and Kaahumanu happens. And while it has some lovely cultural elements, It's a reminder that royal women in Hawaii were subject to arranged marriages, with no choice in the matter. She's one of many wives of Kamehameha's, and she is expected to produce an heir. After the ceremony, the marriage is consummated, with the whole village watching their silhouettes through the hale wall. And showing the little boy watching was a bit much for me. Honestly, I have not heard of this in old Hawaii, but it does remind me of how European kings and queens also had an audience for the official bedding. Meanwhile, Chief Kahikili and his son, Prince Kupule, are in a holding pattern on Oahu. They've been battling it out, and here they complete conquering the island by forcing its main chief, who tried to poison them, to choose between the death of his family or kneeling. And despite taking the knee, they slaughtered his ohana. Once this chief is defeated, the last chiefs of Oahu will fall in line. However, they can't move forward to conquer the rest of Hawaii. This is because the chief insists that due to prophecy, again, Kaʻiana is necessary to his plans. And guess what? He's halfway around the planet. But I'm glad they're showing Prince Kupule's relationship with his lover, Lima. Hawaiians had no problem with gay relationships at all. Now, before my review, I will say I'm speaking from my knowledge gained through growing up in Hawaii, including Hawaiiana classes at Kamehameha School. I also studied ancient Hawaiian religion at the university as an adult. But I know many of my kama'aina may have different opinions, and I welcome your comments. So I am loving this series and how much opportunity it is creating for Hawaiian and Polynesian actors like myself. We have so little opportunity to work in the film industry, so bravo for this.
Butts?
Yeah. The Hawaiians wore malos back then. This show is serious about authenticity, and so you better get used to lots of butts.
More butts! More butts!
Now, one thing that has been in contention is that, like the movie Apocalypto, the show is spoken in Olelo, Hawaii. That is, Native Hawaiian language. I heard a DJ on the radio say he was about to watch the show and then turned it off once he saw it was in Hawaiian. Look, I get that a lot of people don't like subtitles, but I believe that hearing the Native Hawaiian tongue is a very unique experience for many. For me, growing up with my ohana, we spoke English, and any Hawaiian I learned was in school or from my grandmother, my tutu. But I do understand words and phrases here and there, which for me, takes me to my roots. I also think it is so beautiful seeing Hawaii on screen and seeing our original culture. Nearly all the costuming, props, and set dressing details are accurate, and I love seeing the old tea leaf capes and the various high-status leis, like the Leiniho Palaoa. This particular necklace was made from human hair of the conquered enemies, with a large sperm whale tooth pendant attached. Kaʻiana's club is embedded with human teeth, and he makes a knife with shark's teeth at the edges. However, this claw necklace, which Jason Momoa wears a lot on screen, is made of bear claws. Let me tell you, there are no indigenous bears in Hawaii. But perhaps I can excuse it as an item he got from Captain Cook's crew. Kaʻiana also recovers his father's boar tusk lei in episode 1 and later wears it. In my upcoming review of that episode, I'll speak more about Kaʻiana's father's bones and that humongous shark. The feathered capes are to die for, and in ancient Hawaii, thousands of birds gave their lives for these. These items, made from the teeth, feathers, and hair of humans and animals, contain mana, spiritual power, and this mana goes to the wearers. Only high royalty, that is, ali'i, could wear them or even touch them. Speaking of birds, some birds did go extinct from the creation of these items, and today many Hawaiian birds are on the endangered list. Please respect Hawaiian indigenous species of flora and fauna if you visit the islands. The wedding chant is sung by Tiana Te Rongo Patahi Mo'iha, and she does a brilliant job. It is an Oli Kaholo chant, a rhythmic style chant which is different from modern Hawaiian songs. There is so much here in this show, and I might burst from all the Hawaiian-ness in it. This series is also providing work for Kanaka and Kama'aina as crew and contractors, including some of my own ohana. And so again, mahalo for that, Mr. Momoa. In Hawaii, tourism has become a huge industry, but it can be exploitative of the land and the people. So when I see a new industry supporting Kanaka, I applaud. Thank you, Mr. Momoa. So let's start with locations. I am really enjoying the moves to Alaska and Zamboanga. The Zamboanga set is wonderfully chaotic, and the Alaskan scenery is spectacular. Also, seeing my friend's Hawaiian character Vi all the way in what is now the Philippines shows that Hawaiians did not just stay in Hawaii after our discovery. We got on boats and traveled. In fact, King Kalakaua, Queen Kapiolani, and Queen Liliuokalani all attended Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee in England, and Hawaiians participated in the Gold Rush in San Francisco. The locations in Hawaii are very surreal for me to see. Places I know that are cityfied now have been reimagined with CGI as they were back in the late 18th century. I love seeing places digitally rewilded, and also the old Hawaiian hales, or houses. It is a refreshing yet saddening new look at places I have known. My father told me how beautiful Hawaii was when he was a boy, and how built up it is now in comparison. But there's something else I'm seeing in this episode, which makes me, and perhaps you, a little uncomfortable. As I'm watching Kaʻiana, Kaahumanu, and the children, the keikis, learning to speak English and becoming familiar with Western culture, we are seeing colonization happening here at an individual level. I know because this happened to me when I moved to California. Learning new cultural ways, especially that of the dominant Western American culture, can be something new and exciting, but moreover, it has been necessary, both now and then, in order to adapt to the changing world of property, internationalism, and capitalism. And Hawaiians over the centuries, with their dwindling numbers, have been viewed as an other, except in Hawaii, of course. We are considered exotic tour guides who generously welcome millions to our home. So what I really appreciate is how Kaʻiana has a definitely poor opinion about the greed, colonization, and exploitation he observes on the English ship in the Spanish colony. And the world is changing underneath his feet. We see this with the designs of Vi and Barley, who plan to profit from Hawaii's natural commodities. But Kaʻiana sees right through them, plus the captains, the traders, and the sailors. He sees their dog-eat-dog, oppressive ways, and it will be interesting to see what he does in reaction in future episodes. Now, Kaʻiana's arc follows the classic hero's journey. In episode 1, we started with his ordinary life on Kauai, where he has fled his duties as war chief due to disgust with Kahekili's corruption. Kaʻiana is called to adventure by this chief to wage war on Oahu, and at first he refuses. Kaʻiana is sick of killing innocent civilians and of war for the sake of glory itself. He then meets his mentor, Paola, who says he's supposed to help fulfill the prophecy and stand with the great king who has been foretold. In prior episodes, Kahekili had decided he was the chosen one, and he would take the islands with blood and spears. He convinces Kaʻiana of this, and Momoa's character reluctantly joins the fight alongside him at the end of episode 2. Thus, like Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, Kaʻiana crosses the threshold. In episode 2, he takes his family and escapes the corrupt chief while literally jumping off a cliff into the unknown. He wakes on a sailing ship far from land and home on a voyage, like Odysseus. This is the beginning of his tests, where he meets new allies and enemies. Episode 3 is a continuation of the voyage. On his journey, Kaʻiana learns the ways of the larger world to his advantage, and I love how he fillets a tuna on the deck and eats the raw sashimi. His family are mostly tucked out of the way in the episode. They're doing well on the island of Hawaii, and Kaahumanu has befriended Kupuohi, that is Kaʻiana's wife, while they're practicing slinging stones. Kaahumanu has been in the refusal of the call stage of the hero's journey since her introduction in episode 2, where her father Moku called her to adventure. Here in episode 3, she reluctantly answers the call through her marriage to Chief Kamehameha. Nothing will be the same for her from this moment. We also have the subplots of Tony and Barley. We shall see if Tony survives, which I hope he does. I really like this relationship that has developed between him and Kaʻiana, and I hope it continues. And while I find Barley's machinations despicable, in reality it is this type of thinking that has led us to where we are today. Our islands are still a commodity, of which Hawaiians own very little. With regards to themes, the first 2 episodes are about Kaʻiana's attempts to escape the ongoing cycle of war, which Hawaii was embroiled in, with a strong anti-war theme throughout. The very first words narrated speak of this, and Kaʻiana is furious with the killing and abuse of Hawaiian civilians that has happened. Episode 3 switches to a theme of colonization. We see this most poignantly in Zamboanga, where it's actually said you can get anything there, including sex and slaves. They say the Spanish took everything, and Barley and Vi are eyeing Hawaii as a new source of sandalwood. In Hawaii, we see this with the learning of the English language. For theme, though these are common enough themes, I'm appreciating their depiction through the situation and actions of the characters. So I'm giving the character arcs a 10. They are all in it. For plot, it is also a very classic hero's journey. There's less action in this episode, but it moves along, and I'm excited to see the next one. Also a 10. The acting is excellent, and the music is outstanding. Also a 10. And visually, it's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. But why wouldn't it be? We have polar opposites. Alaska's vast snowy plains, Hawaii's luminescent beaches, and a bustling colonial port in its grasping glory. But the star is Hawaii, with its towering green mountains, lava plains, volcanoes, and rainforests. It doesn't get any better. 10. And as a Hawaiian, I'm seeing a high degree of cultural accuracy and detail. Never mind the bear claw lay, and we are transported to a completely different world. Another 10. Again, mahalo, Mr. Momoa, for getting it right and bringing this show to us. Perhaps I'm biased, but I'm giving the episode a 10 of 10. So what do you think of the episode? I'd love to hear your comments on this outstanding show. It is a rare gem. More content like this is needed. And so thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment. We'll be back, but ta-ta for now, and aloha oi from Quork and me.
I give a 0 for bird extinction.
Oh, snark Quork, you know that the show didn't cause this.
Okay, I give it a 10 for Momoa's pecs.
This again?